Have you seen it? I know I don't want to test this new. You no, I just want to test this new. Maybe like you go get the other day. After we few minutes, you went to
Don't we start selling the cocktails? Is it here? If there's any way we can see all the 5 seats, maybe if we do landscape instead of portrait, so that we can see landscape, you know, when the phone is, so that you have the broader screen when it's at 90 degrees. I don't know. You should be able to capture it like this. Yeah, but at the moment it's just 4. We're seeing this one. You should be able to read. We're not seeing those 2. I don't. Okay. I said that so we have 5. Is there any landscape instead of
Like the YouTube. So maybe I'll just. I'll watch.
yeah, maybe.
If they go to that corner, you should go to. Not to the corner there, you should be able to capture it. Yes. I'll go and do that now. They'll go and do it now, send to you. I think it should be the same categories we have. Same categories. Definitely, we are going to use Spain the intention.
And then to my left is Kike Aswene. He's chairman aerobics and other sports. We do have another panelist who will be joining us today. Unfortunately, I mean, she's also a club official, and unfortunately a meeting came up, but she said she'll try and wrap that up as quickly as possible, and then she'll join us. Her name is Omoboye Odu. She's the chairperson of the investment committee. So hopefully when she joins, I'll be able to introduce her. But just in case I can't, then we already know who she is. Now finally, I am from Oladibano. I am a spouse member. The bottom of the rung. I have no rights in this club. I cannot vote, I cannot speak, I cannot participate, but I can come socially, and I have done a few times with Okiki in the last couple of weeks. But before the call from Okiki, I had not been to this club for I think about 20 years. So I think I'm the poster child of what Okiki's talking about. My husband loved, we kept up our membership. I used to live in Ikeja when my children were young, and I would cross the bridge with 4 children, get to a Ikoyi club, run myself around ragged, and then try and get back across the bridge again. And I quickly got tired, and I stopped coming. So let's look at what the club might be able to do to encourage women to participate.
Oh, it's the TV itself. I was wondering.
Yes, it
Sorry, just a little technical thing. Can we ask for the volume of the television to be turned down? Of the television itself? Yes, because that's the people who are joining on YouTube, and there's a delay, and I think it's just drowning out the sound a little bit on this side of the room. Okay, so I'm going to dive straight in. We're going to start with the no nanny policy. Now, like I said, this is not a silent revolution. It is not, what's that famous women's conference? It's not a Beijing conference move. But it is something that I think over time, it's always been an issue, right? Even when my kids were young, like I said, it was an issue. And we know that there's some means that you can devise to bring nannies in. And I'm going to start with you, Lola, please, on this. The policy is as old as time. It's really, really not new, you know. But maybe today more than ever. I mean, I was a working mom. I've been 28 years in my company. But maybe now more than ever, more women are working when they're having their children. They're working, their children are young, and after a very long week in the office, then you come to your club where you want to relax, and so on. And I know that a lot of people feel that, well, we did it, so why don't they do it now? But how can the club really evolve to accommodate this perhaps new wave, if I want to call it that, of working mothers and just being able to, women just being able to come and relax at the club?
Okay,
Without compromising the club.
very important. Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be here, and I'm especially pleased because I'm a strong proponent of women. And I don't know that I've seen this sort of gathering of women here in Ikoyi Club coming to discuss important issues. So, well done to everyone that's come. I think it's the first step to even bigger things. So I thought I would just go back a little bit because you've mentioned key points, new nanny policy. I mean, that's a big issue for me personally. Well, it affects me and affects a lot of other people. But I had to sort of take a step back to sort of think about where Ikoyi Club is coming from, so that it sort of gives us that context of how we're here today. So I had a bit of a history lesson. I went back. I found out that, of course, we all know Ikoyi Club was founded in 1938. Initially, it used to be an European elite club. So it was usually for like rich elite Europeans that were here. And then it eventually merged with, I think it was Lagos Golf Club. And it was sort of really more of a men's club first. And then it evolved, I think, around 1950 into a family club, right? As we sort of speak, there are things still happening today. So then, it became a family club, then it became like lady members, spousal members who didn't have any rights, still don't, to a large extent still now. But it was almost assumed that a spouse was going to be a woman at that point in time. So that sort of then evolved into where we are today. Some of the recent things that happened are, I think it was last year, they changed the spousal rights. The spousal way we could move into an ordinary member. So before it used to be a really long process, and then came to this fast track method. I know that last year there was also a came in place where people who had special needs could come with help. Because the people who couldn't even visit were totally excluded from the Ikoyi club because they can't come with assistance. You actually have to come with somebody who is at the same sort of level as you think you are. So Ikoyi club is like an elite club. So if you're inviting anyone, that's why you can't bring your nannies or anyone, you have to sort of feel equal capacity to you. So that is the concept. The point I'm making is that the Ikoyi club is actually evolving, right? To where we are today, and still evolving as we've been this year. Today, policies are being changed. I think that when you want to change things, you need to always think about both sides as to why did this come in place in the first place, so that you can answer the questions that are necessary to make the change. I believe that Ikoyi Club did that because they were worried about things like just launching nannies everywhere, you bring your kids, sort of degrading how the status of the club looks, because everyone has different, I guess, standards, essentially. Or things like them being not well behaved, because then whatever happens, there's an implication on you as a member if whoever you bring in, of course, does not meet that standard or does something wrong. So that is sort of the background. So that sort of helps us now as we sort of think about how things have evolved. I mean, as I said, it's affecting even me. I play squash, I'm thinking I can't bring my daughter, she's too small, we have to come at different times and things like that to do things we love. But I think the important thing to take out is that these things can be advocated for and changed, right? And that is, I think, why we're essentially here today. To make the change, somebody needs to propose it, there needs to be a proposal, and then you go to the AGM and you present these things, and then, people then vote. But then even in that, there are big challenges there where the people who attend AGMs are, they're not us. How do I put it? We're all too busy. Even the members who are ordinary members and women, we're not there because we're busy with life. So at the end of the decisions that get made, it's by the people who are there. And we made some decisions in Squash AGM recently, and then I saw people, they were like, how did they change the price of this and this? I was like, yeah, we did it at the AGM, We were there, you could have said yes or no, or you didn't understand why it came in place. So, I think for me, the point is, I like that we're here because it's where it starts. We all have rights, even if you're a spousal member, actually you're somebody's spouse, you can advocate for your house, so you even do things, even if you're not ready to make that change. Even anything that we want to do, I think that the platform is there if we're all together and we sort of make that decision that that's what we're going to pursue. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Very good point. I did the similar research and saw the progression of the club. And the truth of the matter is that if we are resisting to change, then none of us will be here. It was a whites-only club. If things did not change in the past, we wouldn't have the club that we have today. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask, one second, I need my memory is failing. I want to ask you here, the rules are the rules, as Robert has very clearly set out for us just now. And we recognize it, as I said at the beginning. And I think that this question in particular tends to split amongst generations. By the time we're wrapping up, how can we bring older and younger members of the club together and try to bridge that generational divide so that we can actually make it? Because if we get stuck at the fighting or the disagreement, then nothing would come out of it. I don't know if you might have any idea.
It's a bit of a tough one, with the experience I've had with the club so far. But as you said, everything in life is about attempt. And thing with us, we start the conversation with ourselves today, but we need to start the conversation with the club. We need to have forums like this where we can get groupings, maybe on a smaller level, sectional levels. If you try, I suspect, you try a general forum like this, we wouldn't see them. But if you try to have a forums maybe with golf, right, and engage members in golf, you have a few of them that would show up, and then we can. What I know also works Ikoyi Club. Ikoyi Club likes feelings. The men in Ikoyi Club, once they can get something or is sponsored, you have advantage. So from a practical sense for me, if we really want to engage them, we need to maybe on a section by section basis gather ourselves as women to have, it might be a happy hour evening where we don't tag a discussion on top, or some other events where we can tag something on top, where we could get, because something has to attract them to come into the fore. So freeness is something that they love. If we have an event and we're able to tag a forum on Twitter, we can talk to them, then we can start the conversation. I must be honest with my experience of them, there's a long wait. There's a lot of male testosterone going on, even up to the GC level. It's just a club. Those are some ways I think go about it.
Thank you very much. Very good suggestions. I like the fact that you think we can go from here actually sectional before we even go up to the executive of the club. So that's quite a good strategy and one I think that we should take over. So Iki, I'm going to go with you now because like I said, I've said it too many times already. I'll say it again. This came about from your own experiences, So we want to bridge people like Ola experience this challenge with the nanny policy. As you've been thinking about this over time, do you have any ideas already? Is that something that you can just share with us now? And we also hope to hear from the people in the room where we could go to the audience. But do you have any ideas already that you can share with us today?
Good evening, everyone. I'm actually overwhelmed that I've seen this many people. I woke up wondering if any woman would show up because my experience in the Great Club is I walk into rooms and it's just always the men. Only if I go into the students and show something squash a few women in there. It's always just the men. And for many years I wondered why. And it seems to be getting worse all the time. Only from on maybe Sundays. If you speak to the women that come, it's okay that you want to go. Now, even the kids, like I have twins, and they're 8 years old, and they keep against coming to the club in particular, allowed to be depleted that way, and it stayed in that, and it stayed in that format for quite a while now, and it's continually, So my own suggestion would be maybe it's time more women speak up. Like I'm not going to for a long time. Yes, I know I'm a library member, but I never read the rule books. Probably didn't even like books. I just come have drinks and I leave. So this year I was like, I want to be more intentional. Like what exactly is going on in this club because there's so many new clubs and social spaces opening in Lagos now, where my kids would rather go to. But I'd rather bring them to an Ikoyi club if, I could have them stay off their tablets and things like that. Just keep meeting new people. There are lots of amazing people, quality people that come to the club, and we don't even know each other. Most people here, I've never met so many of you before, and I can only imagine our different walks of life and, networking, just the sky's the limit on the amount of things women can do if we all intentionally came together, you know. So for me, where my own point stands now is, if after today, if there's a way where there's a group we form, even if it's for information purpose only, you know, to see what next, you know, maybe some of you can drop ideas today, if today runs up. No? So, okay, now the no nanny policy, obviously, like I said, I'm a twin mom, so I was thrown into it, and not all of us have the most hands-on husbands. So I had to learn to be a soldier pretty quickly with two kids. You know, if one is running that way and the other one has gone that way, which child do you go after first? You know, that's a continuous thing in my life, or no problem. But I got through it, you know, and I'm now a member of the club who the kids I was bringing for so many years don't want to come anymore. And that breaks my heart. It sounds like the women I was forcing them in all those years, they genuinely were not enjoying it, you know. So now you have new clubs that are allowing these nannies that Ikoyi Club has kicked against so much, you know. I would allow a member of the audience to say something, because you mentioned something earlier. So, let's go. Okay, we'll wait till later for you to throw. No, I get it. No, because before I throw the idea, she had a lot of reactions. So, okay. Well, for the nanny situation, I've thought of so many ideas, but I'd like to hear other people's thoughts. I've thought of a nanny day. I've thought of maybe hours in the day that they allow the nannies. Technology now is doing so much. So you bring someone in, maybe when we're leaving, you must live with the person, maybe you be penalized. There's so many ideas that can come to be able to start accommodating more women and the kids, you know. So that's what I'm saying for now. I don't understand some of the ideas.
I told Oki before this, Oki, I'm going to have to rein you in. Once she starts talking, she goes in all directions. So excuse me for being a little bit of a bully with her. I'm going to do it, and I'll continue doing it, just so we can get to the end of the panel, and then we can open up for more fluid conversation, okay? So she's promised me she's going to stick to the question I asked her. Otherwise, she'll get no more questions from me. No, we'll get to that. Okay, so I start with my next question, male-dominated spaces and club atmosphere. You know, so here I'm looking at even things like decor, or the menu, or the drinks options that there are, you know. When I go out, I have to say I'm a gin and tonic kind of girl, but I often see women asking for cocktails, and I don't know that there's such an exciting menu of cocktails here, or which clubs may have them, you know. And then very often the decor can be quite masculine and quite daunting if you're coming in as a woman alone. I was here on Sunday, and I walked around the grounds of the club for about 20 minutes. No, sorry, it was last Tuesday until we got here, you know, because every bar I walked into, you know, we just came in and I would just walk out again. So I just wanted to clarify the context of that question, and I'll now ask Ke first, please. That many parts of the club are designed to appeal to men, it would seem, you know, the decor, the atmosphere, the activities, and what are some tangible ways that we can create a more inclusive environment without alienating the existing members, as in terms of the ones who are currently attending the club?
Very tough questions. But sincerely, really, when we think about you talking about the atmosphere you're talking about, I think we need to get to the root of it, which is first of all interest. Are we, the bulk of the men, are we interested enough in the atmosphere and the projects ongoing in the church wants to renovate this place, and you have, they will do an executive meeting, they probably call the vendor to be very careless. How much participation do the women have in saying, look, let's design. The club who says if you're going to design this space, you have to design. The experts have to put the design up on the wall for everybody to comment. The reality of the fact is we all will just walk by that design and leave that to experts. Now, when everything is left to the experts, we then ask ourselves, who are the experts? Virtually all the experts are men, right? So when you try to peel the onion, it means you have to have more women interest and more women participation, right, in some of those decisions. If women are able to, put themselves up to the members, I guess in your cabinet you probably be a woman, right? Okay, you have everything, but if you're there, when those decisions come up, we need to innovate this space. Then there's that voice that says, fine, we're going to innovate. What is it going to look like? Then there's that opportunity to influence to say, no, we don't want a space that is all black and white. Of course, you get resistance. What is wrong with black and white? And we can't be black and white. And if there is a need be in terms of the design, then we argue it out, we talk it out. So for me, interest, participation, and then that's how we can start trying to drive some bit of change and influence in those things without just leaving it to expose the human right down there. Almost all went, so thank you.
Well, you made the difficult question look easy. That was a great answer, and I challenge all of us in here. I said myself, 20 years or so, and I've not attended. All of what we're saying here today will only matter if we actually come to the club. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. So I'm going back to Ikoyi now, but she has promised me. So listen to your question. Answer your question. Okay, so when the club curates events, you see them, they actually turn up, not in huge numbers, but you do see some women who attend those curated events. I think one of the challenges you talk to me about is the day-to-day, the everyday. Why don't women just come to the club and de-stress and relax? And she started to wonder, is there a cultural stigma to it? I've told her that, when I have gin and tonics, sometimes I get looks as if I'm halfway on the road to hell. So there are places that you'll respect yourself and ask for an orange juice, But, if we're being honest with ourselves, there's really nothing wrong with it. We all know how to conduct ourselves. So, what was your conclusion then? What do you think? Is there any kind of stigma? Is it religion? Is it just that feeling that it's not the thing to do as a woman?
I'm glad you mentioned religion. I think religion definitely plays a large part in how women generally conduct themselves. It should play the same part for men, but I think a lot of men are just way more, I'd say rebellious, or just way more relaxed about how they go about things, I was talking to a doctor friend last night, and I said to her, because like I said, I have twins, and it was like 4 or 5 years that, produced those children. So I said to her, for every idea that failed, that when the doctor says, this day look, said I'll say to my husband, please take me to the closest bar, and I'll order a cocktail. I won't say the name. Yeah, but it's a very strong cocktail. I said in that moment, not thinking of religion, need to distress, to calm, I need to, but when, because I'm more, okay, actually way more UK based, or now in Nigeria. So, of course, the culture, then we come into the culture thing as well. So I started thinking maybe it's a Nigerian cultural thing, it's a taboo of some sort to finish work, come, I want to have a drink before going back to your kids. A lot of people are responsible people, I believe, you know our limits. Like, I like vodka, but I know after 4 shots, can't do more. And I'm disciplined like that, but not everyone is disciplined. And I get that. But even if women met and you were having tea, I'm having something else, the fact that we could all meet together will still make me feel like I'm connected, you know, of some sort. So it still brings me back to the whole, like, let's see how this event goes and see how many of us might be interested in intentionally, you know, meeting or starting. So let's start somewhere, you know, and let me stop feeling like I'm the only one that comes to the club socially, you know. So yeah.
Yes, thank you, Okiki. But do you have any suggestions or ideas already? I think you talked something about things like theme, movie nights or...
So, I mean, if maybe if after the today I form a group, I generally can't stand WhatsApp groups, but I'll just have to figure out how to have a group that maybe only get to write things within a certain time because it overwhelms me. Not WhatsApp group overwhelm me, but now I'm suggesting with my new one because that's where I'll be able to quickly share movie night ideas, a projector on the lawn, you know, throw pillows, just relaxing, engaging things that are not that costly to do. It's just that intentionality to want to do. And I look forward to hearing the other ideas some of you might have. What do women want? Like what sort of things will bring you out socially outside of the children? You know, and I'm sure there's some empty nesters as well. You know, what do they genuinely do for fun outside of religious settings? You know, I'm curious.
Maybe we'll hear more from the room when we open up the floor to questions, because it's important we understand why women don't come in order to be able to address it. I mean, you can sit here and have all the ideas in the world, but they may not even be resonating with you. You could be that that's not really my problem, my problem is something else. So when we open it up, we really would like to hear from all of you. So I'd like to move on to another area that these are themed around things that I've already heard, right? Some of the things Okiki's told me, and I've just been in the club for 2 weeks and I've heard so much. I took it like homework, like a project. I've been here about 6 times in the last 2 weeks, different sections, different days of the week, just to get the vibe of different days, you know. There's a recurrent theme. And maybe Kike and Lola might be able to clarify, especially if I don't get it right. But my understanding is that the money in the club follows where the ordinary members subscribe to. So ordinary members can vote if they join the squash section, the swimming, the super billiards, and so on. The more members you have, the more money is allocated to your section. Kike now is the chairman of aerobics and other sports. Now, my understanding is that aerobics and other sports is largely populated by spouse members, which means that section doesn't get a lot of money. But it's actually a section that would appeal to women if it's really done up. And on the first day, I was energized. I said to Kike, I am going to get sponsorship for this section. I'm sorry, I said to Kike, I'm not even next to Kike. I said, I am going to get money for this section. This section is going to become the El Dorado of Ikoyi Club. We are going to turn it around. So Kike and I went up, so we found out from another member of the committee, General Committee. So another member of the General Committee informed us that they were having a meeting that night. We went and sat outside the room because we knew that Kike was going to attend, that she could not enter that place without passing us. And she was lovely. We just accosted her, she didn't know us. We had a quick chat before she had to go into the meeting. And I told her, we're getting money for your section, we're going to... And then she was like, yes, you know, then we'll set up the committees. I can't be part of that committee. I have all all the energy in the world, but I can't be part of it. So that takes me to that third group of questions. And again, like I said, it's not a silent revolution. We're just exploring themes and ideas. Okay, nothing changes if we don't talk about it. So the governance and voting system. And my first question I'll ask you, so spouse members, mostly women, we can't vote, we can't serve on committees, or play any active role. Some women have even have to convert to ordinary members in order to be able to take a position in a section where they've been very active. So you're really active in, I don't know, squash, and you really would love to be vice chairman, but you can't do it as a spouse member. It doesn't matter if you're the #1 ranked squash player in the section. I didn't get a chance to speak to her, but somebody told me about a lady called Ikoyi in the squash section, who then had to convert to being an ordinary member. And you know, being an ordinary member is not just to sign the paper, you have to pay. So you're paying for 2 people in a household where the same membership covers both of you. And so the result of all of this is that decisions about the club are largely made by men. I want to ask Lola about the practical steps that can be taken to make governance more inclusive. You know, like I said at the beginning, we all know how the rules can be changed. General AGM, voting of the members. But maybe we can be a bit creative. I don't know if you have any ideas, but you know, we have to start thinking out of the box. One thing I think I can say, even though I've only been networking for the last 2 weeks, I get the feeling that change comes slow at Ikoyi Club. Very slow. So we can't say that women, spouse members will be voting tomorrow. But maybe it takes another 10, 20, 50 years. But what do we do in the interim? Because if we're here talking about it and the answer is no, it can't happen, fine, then there's no point to talk about it unless we can think of maybe creative ways. So, really on the spot, I don't know if you have some ideas.
Heavy questions. But I hope I'll be able to respond in a way that will resonate with everyone. I was going to say that aside from socials, please come and play sports. I mean, I have to say that I play squash. I mean, there's swimming, there's aerobics, there's a lot of things, golf. So please feel free. In addition to social. Okay, so in terms of the question, right? I really believe in change, but I also believe in starting with what you have, right? And I believe that sometimes we underestimate the power that you already have as we're all here. You're a spouse member, you're here running the show really for... Do you understand? I mean, it's very tough, but running the show here, we're all answering your questions. And I think one key thing that Kike said here was interest, and I think it all starts there. Even as we speak, there are multiple ordinary members who are women, okay? How about we start from there? The women who are ordinary members coming out, because even the ordinary members are not really coming out. That's the truth. For me to even find them, you know, I mean, when it's sports, I'm trying to find some ordinary members, women, they're there actually. But I guess everyone is carried away with so many things, which is fair. But this is our club, right? And if we really want to enjoy it, we need to actually step out. I'm sure here there are ordinary members as well, you know. So it really starts there. It starts with the ordinary members who have the ability to actually make a difference. Should first take a step out. Because sometimes it's not about numbers. Even you could be one woman in 20 men and still be able to steer the room in the direction that you want to go. And I say that because I work in technology. I'm always outnumbered 100%. By men. And I know that there is power in being a woman. So I think that, first of all, the women who are ordinary members rising up, showing interest, participating, attending. Then the women who are not ordinary members actually coming out to support and coming out to lend your voice. I think there's opportunity for things like special committees that we can actually maybe get approval for, that can contain both ordinary and spousal members that can help drive some of the key things that we think are very important. So I think that is one example of something we can do. But I think even in our houses, if we all decide here that, okay, we're all going to be interested, somebody is coming to propose something that is of interest to us, you could just go home and talk to your husband. Okay? Do you understand? Look, this is what we're doing because it's going to be important, and there's nothing I would think will be beneficial to just you as a spousal member that will be hurting your husband, really. So have that conversation. Please, we're going to go for this. I think I was saying to the squash chairman, personally, I wasn't active until, I don't know, a good couple of years ago, but it was only because I was called. It was because they called me to come and do a lady captain and a vice captain for squash. And was actually here. In fact, I would say to my husband, anything, I'll be like, they said we're voting, who are we? I'm just being honest. Who are we voting for? That was me. But I had to rise up when, I was called. That's how I got involved, and, I'm here today, I guess, as well. So I think that, one, the women who actually have that power, we should rise up. So that we're actually present where these things are, things are suggested, ideas come. The women who are spousal members can vote and can go through in a way, what you proxy, in a sense. I think that we should look at potential ways that we can set up committees that can help drive, or advisory committees that can drive some of the decisions that we want to make. So I think those are some of the practical things. As I said, and you said as well, change is not easy, it's a journey, but if we're starting what we have today, I think that's a very good start. Thank you.
Great insight. Thanks a lot, Lola. I think in the first 15 minutes of being in the room today, I met two ladies when I came in. I think the next three ladies that came in and they know themselves. They're actually ordinary members. See? All three of them. They don't come to the club. I won't look at them. They're not sitting right in front of me. Yeah, but I guess that's what you're talking about. Let's start with that. And even us spouse members should also, show up. So I introduced her earlier in absentia. No, we apologize for what we did. Omoboye Oju, the chairperson of the investment committee. Let's just give her a round of applause. But she's not going to escape me. So, Omoboye, you come in just in time for me to ask one of the questions I have for you anyway. After this question, we're going to go into the audience, because time is well gone, and so that we get to hear from everyone in the room, and then I'll just ask one last question of all of the panelists, and they'll just give you very concise answers. So Omoboye, we're just talking about club rules, and they're clear, we know them, right? Spouse members can't vote. I'm just repeating that because I don't know if you heard all of the question. I'm sure her answer gave you an insight into the question anyway. And I was actually going to ask if advisory committees might be a way to do it, and you are more familiar with rules. Do you see any avenue where we can do something whilst we're on that journey to looking at a more inclusive governance system? Are there any quick wins, any low-hanging fruits, maybe things that we can do that would not be controversial with the rules?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I think Lola has answered that question extremely well. Great Law, I'm always reminded that Great Law is an elite club, steeped in tradition, and highly regulated. And if you violate those rules, you are sent upstairs at TC. I used to be a member of TC years ago, so you don't want to imagine some of the petty things people come upstairs. So be very careful when you're not sent upstairs. Okay. But that said, I think it's a frank conversation. Outside of changing the rules to allow spousal members, men and women vote, it is a tough one. It's a very tough one. Ad hoc committees sound like it's a great idea, but it will be first and it has to get the right outcome. And then that because of the curriculum or something new, somebody's just into the machine. So we have our income in sorry, I don't think it's the only way there. But I think the club is moving in the right direction. direction. And some of the people coming are, non-liberal thinkers and might be able to help us push some of the issues we have. But it will take some time. The Ikoyi Club is a place where I call it an old boys club. You rock them gently, very gently. But like Noah has said, the way to rock them is there's faster than that, you rock them faster. And when it comes to the AGM, he says the right things and gets people moving. But otherwise, it's a tricky one to maneuver. But we can start the process and see how we can put some sort of advisory committee in place that allows council members to have a say. What will typically happen is it's going to be a sub-committee or something, and we've got to go to one of the sub-committees that reports. They become very democratic, but I like what Ola said about the fact that there are so many ordinary female members. I've been at induction nights, I've been part of the lunch committee at some point, and I see so many members are coming to do something. Let's try and do something. Do something. Let's try and do something. It actually is almost that I have to have conversations. But no many of us do have this sense of that. I encourage them to try.
Last question I'm going to ask each of the panelists after we've heard from everyone. Last question I'm going to ask each of the panelists after we've heard from everyone in the room is just to look at everything that's been said. And my question to you will be, if we measure progress in a year, what would success look like? What would you, I mean, it's just a year. We know that we're not going to get to the end of it. But in a year's time, what at least would you like to see? I'm going to give you some time to think about that whilst we hear from everyone. And as we hear from the ladies as well, it may even give us some, give us some ideas about what we might want to be looking at next year. So, thank you very much for joining us once. Thank you very much for joining us once again. The floor is open to you now. I want to suggest that you can come up to the front of the room so that you can be facing. Please come.
Thank you so much for this wonderful fun. My name is Patricia. They call me Trish. And I want to say,
Sorry, Trish.
can you?
Yes, ma'am. For everybody, yes. Let's know if you're an ordinary member of
I
staff.
am an ordinary member. I've been a member of the swimming section ESCO. This year, at the end of this year, I'm currently going for vice chairman of the swimming section. I want to just read real quick words from, just a summary of the words from Ngozi Chimamanda, where she says that the double standards that women face in the world, anywhere you find yourself, whether it's in the social arena, at work, anywhere. She opines, a lot of us agree with her, that where a man is considered confident, a woman is considered arrogant. Where a man is considered uncompromising, a woman is considered a lawbreaker. Where a man is considered assertive, a woman is considered aggressive. Where a man is considered strategic, she's considered manipulative. She's considered a leader, he's considered a leader, she's considered controlling. And finally, where he's authoritative, she's annoying. So, that reminds me a lot that, we have to speak to conquer anywhere we find ourselves. And many times we are seen in a particular way that even fellow women have been groomed to also see us in that same way.
Yes.
Regardless of whether we're fellow women and regardless of the mantra that says women supporting women. I said recently, just a few people in the section, that I find that if a woman needs to rise up and get to the position at the table of decision, they need men. Majority is only men that can get us there. Fellow women, most of the time, first, said that we have to use what we have
That is one. Another thing that we feel to realize is that when we do get there, the few of us that get there, we have a much higher standard than the men. And I made an example that, whereas a woman will have 80% capacity for the vote to get to this table of power, because of maybe 20% or 35%, they will hold her incapable of getting there. Whereas a man would have only 35%, and they'll say, oh, we can build up the remaining percentage only because of our sexes. And unfortunately, whether or not we like it, this is what happens. And I know people say, oh, it's the character, but the character that you're holding up to standard, you're holding that character up higher than the one you're holding for men. But that's the world we live in today. So I just want to say that we all should be intentional, and otherwise it will never change anything. Many of our ordinary members that do not participate, when you do get a chance, come. When you do get it, you have to conquer. That's what will last. And if you don't last, you wouldn't get to the place where you can begin to make change. And the change that we all need cannot come from being just a six member. Another quick thing that I wanted to mention, that while we're talking about, let me just, because you may ask for suggestions that potentially help. And I think one of them, without going back to the question, we don't do enough ladies' nights in all the sections, because from there we will be able to see our honorary members that are women and be able to build them up. We should be able to pursue that, because that's the only way we can show that we're not trying to change much, but let's just move first and identify ourselves, those of us that are honorary members. Secondly, we need to be able to say to ourselves, there's one thing that is of great, whoever gets there, we can start pushing that agenda. Now, we know what goes on with the disciplinary committee. We know when a spouse, when an ordinary member is suspended. I think one of the things that is near and dear to spouse and even ordinary member, particularly to women, is this, our children. Our children are everything to us. Now, when you do have members, ordinary members, who are suspended, when we do get seats of power, we consider removing our children from the fray of when a ordinary member is suspended. Is it possible for us to look at this and perhaps, because most times the members will come back, it's possible for us to think of how we can remove our children from that fray in the sense that when an ordinary member is suspended, it can affect the spouse, but can you please involve the children? Is there a way we can have that conversation when we do that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are going to just take a little pause because we have a very special guest in the room, and I'm going to hand over to Kiko to properly introduce him.
And we are going to take it, apologies my voice, we're going to take a little pause because we have in our midst the chairman of Ikoyi Club 1938, and I think commended and is taking the time to come and join us at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that. Thank you so much, Chairman. We actually need you to have us. Thank you so much. Our moderator has given me permission to say a few things. Thank you to Lady Joshua. Key takeaways. Agree that we should have more hands, and I think we in every section should try and it is nice way possible. But one thing really the strong when she spoke is the fact that we need to get ourselves together as women. It's interesting, even when we are in positions to win ourselves. I realized that, Lola is here, she's in Mexico, I don't know. she's here. But yeah, I don't know, I don't have any relationship with her. We all started the club in different ways. And so really, at some point, and guys do that a lot. Guys come together and mobilize themselves. And again, I must say, as I always say, this is not a resolution, this is not a revolution, this is not. This is just us being able to talk. So we need to get to know ourselves, you know. And say we need to have a female ordinary members. We know ourselves, we know who we are. That way, you know, we can, and it doesn't have to be something about even changing the club. Even as you said, just socializing, and just networking, and just feeling chill. So for me, I think that's really key.
Thank you very much. So we'll go back to the floor now to hear more.
Hello? Alright, hello everyone. So my name is Abiola Fashion. I'm an ordinary member. I'm one of the ordinary members that do cancel time for children. So Ikoyi job stopped after about 10. I think it's somewhat sad that this pattern is still happening and we haven't actually figured out a way to make it still hospitable for the men, but friendly for the families. I was telling the panelists that I pay for a Ikoyi club and actually I can't explain why, because I don't come. And to be honest, I don't know that I particularly like it outside of swimming. The nanny issue is a huge one for me. I'm a working mother. There is no way to come in and bring the child myself. The weekends are overwhelming. You get to the pool, there's 50 kids, all the mothers. Who wants to do that on the weekend when you're finally relaxed? I used to come to swim myself, but every choked into before and after work. So then I stopped coming for that as well. I have a few suggestions that may not offend the men. It's not a revolution, but please, it makes it easier for the moms and even the empty nesters, because Ikoyi Club is work. You're coming with your children and you have to watch them. You can't gist, you can't talk, you can't drink. You're on nanny duty and you've just come from work. And even being a housewife is work. So why are you coming here to work again? We can pay for nanny passes. Other clubs do this. One staff per family. If you ask us to pay, we'll pay. You can regulate the times for the nannies. 2 hours and you're out. You can tell us they can't come in after 7. So when you're in the Heineken bar, your children, your nannies, and your wives are not here. You can do these things. So it still feels like a boys' club. But at least during the day, we too can come. And it's easier for us. I work on the mainland, can't bring them in. And I've seen some really crazy things at the gates when people are trying to pretend their nannies, their sister, sunglasses, handbag. We all know what's doing. The guy knows what's going on. But we're all saying, I was because they're all in support. Now is the election. God, don't let them catch me and spend my money. So I'm just saying, please, change is incremental, but it's a family club. At least during the day, can we make it easier for the moms to join? Then the last thing I want to say is the playground. It is atrocious. It is dangerous. There are concrete cinder blocks there. There is untapped plastic on the floor. The swing is, I don't know what. When my child, I refuse. You cannot go there and bash your head. So let's just go into swimming section. So I just think that there are that we can do to make it a bit more friendly for us. And these things are not expensive. You'd be surprised that the moms would pay if you asked us to, because we want to come to the club, but there's an aura here that just prevents you from coming. I don't know what it is. And please, if we can make some simple, logical, non-intrusive changes to the way you staff into the club, it would be so helpful for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good contribution and suggestion. I'm writing them down. You said something. I'm sorry, I missed it. Viola said something, and I love the way she captured it. Change is incremental, but it must, it's so, Mr. Chairman, we assured everybody that it's not the Asian conference, it's not a revolution, but we do believe that, they say survival of the fittest. The creature most likely to survive is the one that can adapt. So we're just looking at what can we do to make the club slightly more attractive to women. And that incremental change is really what we're looking for. We know it's a long journey, but little bit at a time. I like that incremental change. So back to the floor.
Hello everybody, my name is Hello everybody, my name is Megwa. Yes, I'm an ordinary member. I've known Ikoyi Club for over 57 years. And Ikoyi Club to me definitely hasn't changed. I keep hearing elite. I would like Ikoyi Club to define what elite is, because elite is relative to everybody. So we need to define that. When we talk about women honorary members, I think we need to also start from a certain space. And we need to get data. How many people are actually honorary members? Because if you do not really have females that are honorary members, then it's very difficult, like you said, when projects come and people walk past it. Because they know they're not going to be able to add any value, it might be difficult. We talked about talking to your spouse and telling them, in Nigeria, your spouse will not carry it over, so let's do that, Then, communication. I don't think communication in Ikoyi Club is good at all. I get communication from Ikoyi Club when they want you to vote for people. That's the only time. So if we have data, use our emails, use the WhatsApp or whatever, and send changes of policies, what is going on in Ikoyi Club, so that people can come and participate. And even when you're talking about female sections and doing things like that, it would reach other people. Right now, nothing is going on. Today's meeting I got from my sister-in-law. If not, I would never have known that was happening. Then you also talked about meetings in sections. It would also be nice to do Zoom meetings because people in cars can just put it on and participate. Everybody cannot come down here. So Zoom meetings would be nice. And then to know what females like, it would also be nice when you get the data to reach out to do a survey. What do people want? It could be flower arrangements, it could be certain form of trainings and things. So by the time you reach out to people, they'll be able to tell you things they need. Thank you.
I'm also an honorary member. Not already. I do almost 10-15% now. Okay, thank you. You're able to bring us all out today. I think 80%
50% of the women here were here for that playground, right? We want change. And I'm glad that we have some members of the investment committee. So mine is more of a question. How are things funded? What is what comes from the club's own budget compared to sponsorships? Is it lacking external sponsorship? How does it work? So that's my first question. And maybe you can speak to that. Okay, maybe I'll just go to the second one. It's about proxy voting. I'm sure that has been discussed at some point for the spouse member. In most of our households, most households, there will be one person that's more interested in the club. Obviously, it's my husband. He comes more often, 2-3 times a week as a spouse member. So I'd be very happy to give him my proxy vote, or allow him to make some of those decisions instead of him having to feed it through me, and then I have to come and make all those votes. So I don't know if that has been discussed or in the whole thing.
Thank you. Some questions, and I'm sorry to throw you under the bus. I will defer to the chairman. Before I do that, so let me explain. The investment committee of the Ikoyi Club invests excess funds for the Ikoyi Club, not capital projects of the club. So what we're responsible for is to invest the funds that the Ikoyi Club has raised in optimal investment outlets. So that's what the committee does, and that's what I'm responsible for. So in terms of things like the playground, it's something that will probably come under premises, and it's a long moving process. It has to go to CapEx Club and tenders and whatnot, but somebody has to, I think it's under the premises committee, it has to be a recommendation for the playground to be renovated. And I believe that there are many women on premises committee, if I'm not mistaken. There are, I think, about 2 or 3 committees that have a large proportion of women premises and possibly membership. So I'm surprised that it hasn't come up. I'm not aware, but we can make inquiries and find out what's happening with the playground. Okay. And then my chair, the question about proxy voting.
Before the chairman comes in, I just wanted to give a bit of context again, because I think when I gave my first speech or whatnot, people had not really come. But I gave a bit of context into the journey of Ikoyi Club and how we started from somewhere, from a European elite club to more like a men's club, then evolved into a family club, which we're still sort of evolving. And I just want to highlight, because I know there are different comments and suggestions which are fantastic, but I think it's just important to note that there has been change. At least over the last 2 years, I mentioned 2 important changes that were made. One was to spousal members, and which was, I think it was Dr. Mobolaji Johnson in Gulf who actually pushed for that change, where for you to change from a spousal member to an ordinary member, it was a hectic process. For people even who had been in the club for 20 years, it didn't matter. And they rallied golf, women rallied their husbands at home, and they all went and actually voted to ensure that that process was changed to a fast-track process. There's also the policy which changed, I think that was this last year, around members being able to bring, if you have like a special disability or something, or special needs, being able to bring your support to the club. I just want to put that out there because it's important to know that we're here for a reason and it matters. Even as a spousal member, your vote matters wherever you're making that happen. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, just one more question. Yeah, no, yes.
I greet my chairman, the office bearers here present, the coordinators, and my able chairman, Madam Nasirian. I'm Phil Everett, E610. That's how we roll in the great law. You must give your name or membership number. Either you are a spouse member or ordinary member, you are a member. There's no room for discrimination. I joined the club in 1991 when I was just like 19. Yes, and I've been a member for 34 years. I started as a spouse member. And it's due to happenstance. I want to break the chains. Because everyone has been coming out as ordinary members. We need to have our own people too. And nobody should feel inferior. Because to be honest with you, that's what has been holding our women. Most house members even attend law functions and other events than ordinary members. Please, what I have to say this evening, I want us to have an open mind about it. Because I've been in this club, I've used this club. I was lucky to have married somebody that is a socialite. So he taught me how to drink out. And he taught me how to do so many things. So I mix with the men. And when some people come and say, there's a woman in our midst, they say, no, she's a man. Don't worry. Just say whatever you want to say. So and the men know me as well. And I give God the glory. What I've come here to say is that I think the ordinary members too, that are ladies, should please step up and bring up the spouse members. I remember several incidents when we were trying to, you mentioned it, and I know you have the history, when we were trying to evolve, upgrade to ordinary membership, which most of us are processing it to now. So the ordinary members were not supporting us. Be honest. Yes. We have to be honest with ourselves now. Yes. Because I've had so many things now, we're not going nowhere if we continue to speak only grammar. What is going to happen? What is going to really happen? We have to help each other. The women should look in us, men are not going to help you. Because they believe that you people are powerful. But you are shying away and accusing the men that this and that. No way. You need to step up your game. And we're not saying that you should, whatever you're calling it, revolution or whatever. See, I tell you, the constitution of the club is perfect. You can't change it. And if you go by the rules, you cannot make any mistake. I've read the rules back and forth. We have tried to change from spouse members to ordinary. Several times it's been thrown out because there's going to be a procedure, there is a process, proposals. And there was a time I told some people, when they were saying about the proposal, I said they will throw it out. People cannot get anywhere. And they did. But you see this last one that came up, we were involved, and I told the ladies, and let me be honest with you. I always be honest with you. It's the spouse members that handle it. The ordinary members abandoned the ship. Look at my friends. Yes, my friends that were ordinary members then, I said, you have to come. I'm busy. I won't be around. And I saw them that day. And I said, what are you doing here? Because we are always around. You were, see, the spouse members will also have an excuse to say, we are spouse members, you can't do this. Who told you? What the constitution says you can't vote and you cannot be voted for. It doesn't mean that your brain is dead. You can make suggestions. You can make friends. You know you just speak. You are empty here. Playground is this. You don't know who to meet. Let me, before I forget, we all came in, we didn't sign any register to get the women's name and their phone number. And some have left already. And we say we want to do movie, we want to go to watch cinema. How are we going to contact these women? When we have any program, we are not here to revolt. What we are here to do is have a good time. Do you understand? Let us start now. Let them start passing the paper and say we write our name so that when we want to contact these beautiful women, we'll be able to get them for socials. There's no revolution here. Nothing like that. We don't want to make ourselves. Yes, for instance, you have brought up the playground. During our time, my children are big now. My last baby is 26 years old. Yes. And they all grew up in the club. Some of them are members now. Because I started early. I told you I joined at 19. And to God be the glory. I'm still proving with them. When they come to the dinner party, I'm there. But people will not come out. We had this Amazon party just last year. We were almost begging the women. When I see them passing, Madam, there's a party for you here now. I'm going, let me see you, please. And then people are say they are doing. If they accept us, it's only elders party who don't show up because they will drive us. We can hide somewhere and be looking at them. And by the sort of life, you are here, you want. So, no, to be honest, we should start helping ourselves. We should start inward. The ordinary members didn't help at that time. They said, we're not going to sign, please. We don't even know what we are talking about. We said, okay, if you don't worry. And we went ahead and did what we did. And then most past members showed up to give support. My stable chairman was there, my lovely lady. I can't forget her. A couple of them. But no, seriously, some ordinary members were feeling very superior. To be honest, we're not jealousy you people. We're not jealous because me, I would have even been a life member. But because I lost my husband. So, and I'm not bitter. I didn't allow you to depress me. I'm forging ahead. I think that you need yourself. Make the best out of it. Now, they didn't allow the house helps to be at the playground. We came with house helps there. And then after a while, yes. 1991, I joined the club. 34 years ago. So after a while, they found out that mothers, us, will come with our house help. And we also occupy all the chairs where members will come. They won't see where to sit. There are so many reasons they can give. So the GC, the management, they are always listening to us and looking for how to help us solve this problem. But it depends on how we package ourselves, how we present our case, how we help ourselves. We are not helping ourselves. Let's do better, please. Thank you.
You have really shared some valuable insights. So the lady here has promised me her comment is 2 seconds.
Just before the comments, please, I would like to also recognize in our presence another very important person, right? The Vice Chairman of the club. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, very happy that you listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm standing on all existing protocols for the chairman of the house. My name is Ope Makira. I'm an honorary member as well. I'm just like the lady said, I think it was you that spoke, I think communication. And of course, just to appreciate all the incremental growth that we've seen. I've been a member since I was a child, so as well, and Ikoyi has changed and evolved. But the thing is, I think communication is the issue. It's amazing to see everyone well represented here today, but sometimes some of us don't even know what to get involved with. How do we even know? Because like the lady said, the lady might actually, I always get information, it's voting. Even this voting one, I registered, but I don't even know what I'm voting for. I don't know what is, I really don't know what season it is. So if we can use the data, to definitely, communicate more effectively with people, I think it would help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks a lot for your contributions.
To, of course, recognize our chairman for squash, Mr. Kishope Roberts. And this is squash. This is where we're sitting, looking fantastic, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Champagne. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. I did say I was going to ask the panelists the last question before we wrap up. This is not a dry event, so we'll be sharing cocktails and we do have snacks at the back as well. So please, when the event finishes, don't rush off. Women, don't carry your handbags and say you are going home, because that's one of the things we've learned today. So please do stay and network with us afterwards. But before we close, it's not every day that you'll get the chairman and the vice chairman of the club to attend an event to discuss how to engage women's participation in the club. Please, let's give them another round of applause to express our gratitude. And I deliberately did not ask the chairman to speak as soon as he came in, because I wanted him to firstly hear some of what we're talking about. But I am now going to give him the microphone so that he can address us. So please give him a round of applause.
Good evening, distinguished members of the Ikoyi Club. Let me quickly recognize my vice chairman who is with us, the chairman of the section, Mr. Akishokwe Roberts, that has been tagged as Mr. Ikoyi Club, the most handsome guy in the Ikoyi Club. Let me also quickly recognize the immediate vice chairman of the Ikoyi Club, Mr. Akintola. Please, can you be outstanding? Happy to see you. Also, our beautiful ladies. I want to say thank you for coming. But one thing that I've learned how to do is that I always do not allow women to kind of shake me, or because I have 3 sisters and I'm the only son in my house. So I'm used to ladies. So I want to say welcome to you all. Honestly, it gives me so much joy that I'm witnessing something of this nature happening in the Ikoyi Club, where women are growing and trying to understand that they have your rights in the Ikoyi Club. It's something so beautiful. I will tell you, I'm so fascinated that you all are here. Within a period of maybe about a week or 2 that this notice came out, and I was expecting to see an empty hall. But when I got here, I saw heads, faces, beautiful ladies, well dressed, I see people well. Wow. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Yeah, I listened to a lot of things, and like I would quickly want to say, the chair lady, it's like you guys decided to put me on the hot spot. Yeah, on the hot seat for me to start answering questions when I was not even prepared. Mine was to just come in, listen, then disappear. Only for you all to now say, I should say something. One important issue which I would like to quickly touch on is that there's nothing sacrosanct about the rules of the Ikoyi Club. Our Rule 40 explains it all. There's no rule in the Ikoyi Club that you cannot change. And that is why whenever we hold our new members' night, I always tell members and those who are present there that please take hold of your green book, read it like the Bible or the Quran, so that you will understand what it is that is inside that rule book. The rule book is a Bible to me, maybe because I'm the chairman and the former vice chairman before the club. So I read it. And our rule 40 is so clear that whatever you think you want to bring into a Ikoyi Club, you can do a proposal. All you need to do is to have members come to the AGM and vote for it. And the bottom line of it all is that you must have a majority vote. And that makes that change to stay. So when I hear people start talking about, you are supposed to do that, I can't do it, you can't do it, but somebody, group of people, like we all seated here, are the ones that will affect that change. So I'm sure I must have sent a message to you all now that our rules are not sacrosanct. They are there for us to change. When you get hold of the rule book, if you can't find anyone, go to the membership office, go and buy one. It's so cheap. maybe about 15 naira or maybe 1,000 naira, but I don't know. Just go get one and read it. You will understand what I'm talking about. Then the other issue we all talked about is the issue of ordinary members. I saw few of our ladies come out now with those kind of boldness or pride. I'm an ordinary member, I'm an ordinary member. The new rule that we have just changed is so clear. Anybody who is a spouse member who decides that he or she wants to change to become an ordinary member will only have to pay half of the dues that is expected from you. So any of you can change, because by the time you become that, you now have the right to vote and be voted for. So that you do not just sit down and start saying, oh, people are doing this, people are doing that. No. Please, you have the right. And whatever you want to do stays with you. We spoke about the issue of the playground. Yeah, definitely. That playground, when I was the vice chairman about 4 years ago, I got a friend that fixed it for about 15 million naira. Pro bono to the club. But you know, children have been using it and it has deteriorated. But as I speak to you right now, a new contract has been signed for it. So not that I will be there when the next GC coming up will actually fix it. So we have that on ground already and we don't have any problem going through that. Yeah. But like I said, we are a family club and that makes us unique in the Ikoyi club. And having really this come together there is something that I'm so proud of. And yes, I've already touched on that. So, in saying what I've just said, I'm grateful that I'm here this evening to experience all that I'm seeing. And you all have the power to change whatever you want to change. Ikoyi club is not basically for men. Because I heard somebody come at us now that they see men bringing handbag, bringing handbag, bringing this and that. Come on. When you as ladies want to do yours, nobody sees you. To me, you don't even know when it happens. So it's as clear as that. On the issue of people trying to bring in their kids and you need any support. We discussed this issue sometime 2 years ago here, and I said, look, there's nothing we cannot change with the club. If you think you want to bring in your children, we can modify issues or things in line with the fact that, yes, maybe people have paid staffs, that when you bring in your children, they will look after your children for you. But like someone just said earlier on here, in the past, the club allowed people to bring in house help and stuff, but it created a big problem. There was a big problem to it, whereby people now said no, that we should not allow it. But what I thought we discussed here 2 years ago, let us sponsor something, sponsor a proposal, get staff on ground, whereby when you bring in your children, maybe at a fee, you could just pay some money for a particular, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours that you will be here. Those staff will help you take care of your children. Because I could just imagine if we all bring in our house helps into the club, with all of us, if I know that is the commonest thing that we do in our homes in Nigeria, which we cannot try abroad. Nobody will have the house help abroad. But in Nigeria, because it's cheap, you will always have one. By the time 10 of us bring in 10 house help into the club, how will the club look like? Let us start thinking about that. This is not just an ordinary club. we are talking about a club with international standard, which we are all craving for, which we want us all to put the club into. So please, I don't think that one will work. But what I just suggested now could be better in the sense that we could have staff from ground and bringing your children, you know, they will help you to take care of your children. I'm not sure if I haven't answered most of your questions. So on that note, I will say thank you and thank you for your support. By this time next month, I won't be your chairman again because my tenure ends on the 27th of this month. Yeah, so that is it. But I will quickly want to say this, that I want to appreciate you all for the support you've given to me and for you all going through the stress of this Ikoyi Club rules, which is something that I started as the chairman of the club. It's being done free of charge to the club by myself and my friends. You know, that was one of the promises I gave when I was going to contest, that I will fix this Ikoyi Club road. Myself, my friends got together through a federal agency in Abuja. The road is being fixed for about 560 million naira. And I promise you that on the 15th of this month, the governor is coming to commission that road. So that road will be commissioned on the 15th of this month so that every member can do that road free of charge. So that's why I want to say thank you. God bless you all. Please uphold what it takes to be in the Ikoyi Club. Our roads are very, very important. Please, and I will continue to say this, most especially, you know, you all are women, and women, you guys are all very, very powerful. But let's try and be disciplined. Let's try and be disciplined, both in our action, our words, and whatever we do. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to share here today that one of my first suggestions the chairman just repeated. Because I actually thought to myself that the nanny issue could be maybe an incremental change that we've been talking about, is to bring in a nanny service, and they do exist. They come in with their equipment and they leave on the same day with their equipment. It's not a permanent fixture. And the club could look at it maybe once a month, once a quarter, to start, and then if that's working, incrementally increase. And we can look at how many hours of the day, and so on, and that's much better than bringing in 100 nannies. Because with 20 staff, 15 staff, they can look after so many children. I've used the service, and it's very good. The people are very well trained. They look after babies from newborns all the way up to about 5. And after that, I think things can be negotiated. So, Mr. Chairman, we're on the same page. Thank you. Now, I know that time is gone, but I did say that I'm going to ask each of the panelists, and I'm going to ask them one word or one sentence, that if we look back a year from now, what would you, or look ahead, what would you want to see? What would be success for you? He's laughing because she knows herself, but I'm going to take the mic from you. Now I'm going to just concede for Lola because she had one final point she wants to make. She's promised me it's no more than 30 seconds. So we'll start with Lola. She'll make her point and then she'll just tell us what success looks like in a year's time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The point I wanted to make was just to give the context as to why some women came out and mentioned that they were ordinary members. And it was because we were saying that we didn't think there were enough women who were ordinary members. And a point was made that there are women who are ordinary members, and it would be good if we know who they are, so that they can also make their votes count as well. So I thought that's why I saw that they came out of, it was important to say that, yes. And also, there is a salon spa in the Ikoyi Club. I don't know if we know that. but there is. Exactly. So that people are aware of some things for women. For me, what success would look like, I'm trying to rope it into one sentence, is more women showing interest, coming to events like this. That advisory committee that I mentioned, potentially having that advisory committee with some spousal members and other members come together to really make decisions. So if some exception could be made so that could happen. More women playing sports, and women who are spousal members also knowing that they could actually move and change into honorary members if you so please. Thank you so much.
Okay, for me, what would success look like in one lifetime? Be quick. Ladies' night, every section, we're going to have, clear ladies' night, times where ladies come together to feel comfortable. Where we already have a forum, whether it be to WhatsApp, whether it be to some, Zoom meeting groups, where ordinary members we get to know each other, so that when there's a try for a vote on supporters, probably, to have worked out all the kinks required for some form of nanny services to allow women to come to the club. Education forum. One thing I also know with women, a lot of us, even ordinary members, don't know how the club runs. So we don't know how, if we need to change or need to not change. So some education forum that is there. And I think it's not just for women alone, but women can push for it and the men can join. Where the club takes it as a mandate to put up, sessions where to be able to educate people about wealth. Then the last one is women show economic power, women's sponsorship. You find out with the club, right? Sponsorship is not all about corporate sponsorships. There are individuals who sponsor activities. There are groups who sponsor activities. There's nothing wrong for us if we want to promote, Lola, for example, coming to just sponsor her, help with campaign and all this. And then even up to the government, because whether we like it or not, we have to be able to get a way for them to come with us, for them to listen to us. And one of those ways is economic power. And a lot of women forget it. I believe women were equally as economically able as the men. Let's not pretend to ourselves. But we're too used to just taking the back seat. I think we need to come forward.
Thank you, Malaki. I feel they've said it all. Okay, but we are saying success for me would be having a ladies' night and seeing maybe 80% of women and 20% of the men. And not be able to
Success for me will be seeing more women represented at the various expos at sectional level of the nation. That's easy, and reach. I'm on the bar committee. I was brought in as one of the girls that can blend with the guys. I'm sure there are many of us that are like that. But in blending with the guys and making some changes, and my chairman of that committee will tell me, Madam, you are coming in. I said, yes, this drink is what women would like. This is what I was going to say. Let's try and make it do so. There's so many committees in the curriculum, and the female representation of this committee levels are very minimal. So we can do actually ordinary families. So let's push. And maybe coming in as chairman of badminton now, I have 3 women working with me. Historically, it wasn't always like that. And one more thing, talk about women playing sports. I'm happy to say that many years ago, the late past chairman, like men, helped me do a motion in badminton where I have a free ladies' night. So Monday evening is free training for women in badminton where you don't pay to play. And we've been promoting that for about 6 years now, I believe. And it's not so popular, it's actually the more popular night in the back section. So if every section has something similar, it works.
advisory committees. We've heard about ladies' nights across the club and in sections. We've talked about the need to connect as women on a regular basis. We've talked about solutions to the no nanny policy, nanny passes, even if you have to pay for them, mobile nannies coming into the club to provide their services. We've talked about the playground, and the chairman has very timely is assuring us that the contract for the renovation of the playground is already in place, even though it will be done after his tenure. I think one of the key things we talked about is the need for communication. Can I ask the guys on the back to try and keep the volume down, please? Thank you. We've talked about communication. That seems to be key. And thanks for whoever pointed out that we weren't even taking contact details here, and I hope everybody's been able to fill that form. We talked about surveying what women want so that we really understand what we're trying to address. We talked even about proxy voting, something that we'll put on the table going forward. There are several others fora, maybe some kind of phone, telegraph or WhatsApp or something like that. There's so many, the education forum even. So there are many topics that we've taken note of here today. And we'll take into next sessions that we're going to have. So, wrapping up, I say what an interesting session this has been. It really has been. Open and frank discussions, people really expressing exactly how they felt. And the good thing was that there was no judgment in the room. From the people who wanted all the nannies to come flooding in, to those who don't want any of them, we allow one another to express our opinions. And I think that is just such a healthy situation that we have. So we see that there's a lot of work to be done. But some of the people who know the club better have also shown us that there's already a lot that's already available to us. And that we need to leverage the strength that we already have. We have seen how many ordinary members just here today. So many. And we can leverage their vote. And then we also talked about things that don't require vote and we can still participate. I want to thank our panelists. Please help me give them a round of applause. The competition for who got the most difficult question was real, but they were able to answer all of the questions, sharing their insights and being a really important part of the conversation. I thank Okiki for having the idea in the first place. I also thank her for not being upset when I told her she was talking too much and off point. Well, Okiki, that's Okiki and she knows herself, but she did really well today. So today we've explored meaningful solutions. I've just listed some of them. Ways to make the space of this club more inclusive and to create an environment where all members feel at home. The conversation won't end here. Real change happens when discussions lead actions, right? So we've done the discussions. I tried to take some notes as we've gone. Now, I'm not a club official, but we can make a summary of this session and share whichever means we think is going to lead to some of the changes that we want. So I encourage all of us, one house, please everyone. One house, thank you. I promise you I just have a couple more points, we're done. But I really want to take the opportunity as well to encourage all of us. In this room we've seen club officials, section heads, ordinary members, and then just engaged women and men who are interested in the club. I encourage all of us to continue this conversation. Let's set up events in our sections, let's spread the word, and then for our part, let's attend. Let's answer the call. Let's answer the call. We've heard that so many times opinions are needed and there's nobody to give them. Let's answer the call. So I thank you all again for your time and your contributions. And this was Baba Dilano, your anchor for today.